Welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast extra branch. MICK Owens, welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm not too bad, Ray, and your fine self.
Good. This is our 19th attempt at doing a fucking episode of this because of technology. Fucking Skynet have taken over, and they don't want the guys to chat about pints and turf, and that's what the
That's it,
people
yeah.
need from podcasting now is turf banter, and nobody
More,
wants to fucking hear it.
that's it, hey.
Yeah.
More
How are
blacks, more
things
turf,
anyway?
more
How
pints.
are you getting on since the last time we spoke, which wasn't 10 minutes ago?
I'm not so bad. I'm keeping going. I'm just trying to keep myself busy during lockdown.
Uh,
Uh, that's the whole thing. I think that's everybody's sort of situation, really, isn't
yeah. Do you again the last time we spoke you were saying that you had started swimming because you're training for something or
it?
and you
I
described
had
swimming as a fucking terrifying experience the last time we spoke, and obviously that audio file is now lost to the world, but I enjoyed your description of
I
it.
I was fucking. I was essentially I'm trying to do a try. So it's a fucking triathlon for people with like shit lungs like myself. So I've decided I would get this swimming wetsuit and whatever and go to
Hmm.
the Gorton Lakes, which now I haven't thought about it. God only knows what's at the bottom of that lake. But
Oh, for sure.
um, so I went anyway and decided would give it a crack. And I had been warned that like you came, you need this safety buoy thing, like a flotation device, just in case, because some people get spooked. And I was like, well, I've been to fucking Lisburn Leisureplex before. Like I know how to deal with water. And
Yeah, fall swimmers.
turned out turns out I didn't. I don't know how to deal with water at all. Uh, so obviously when you put your head under the water in a swimming pool or in the ocean, like if you're in the sea, you have the ability to get a bit of a view around you.
Yeah.
So I was paddling about and I got kind of near enough the middle of the lake and I was like, Jesus, this is actually grand, like it's no bother. And I hadn't dipped my head under the water at this stage. And I was like, fucking, I'll go try and pelt it out here and see if I can get a bit of distance going. I put my head down and fucking absolutely shit myself.
Yeah.
Pitch black, like the heart of darkness black, like I think is what I
Fuck.
said to you last time. It's
Like,
like staring into the heart of darkness. It's fucking so creepy, like.
yeah, I would honestly never would have thought of that. Like, you just assume, oh, you're in the
No,
sea and it's vast, yeah, but everyone thinks about what's going on around you when you're in the sea, but I never think to look at below because as you,
this is in the sea. I think it's probably fine too. This is because it was in the middle of a fucking lake in Gorton.
yeah,
So I don't know whether every lake's like that or whether it's just the lakes in Gorton, Gorton, like,
just
but
just gorging, dark as fuck
just
on the
Gorton,
sign.
yeah. Fucking that's it. That's like the core of the universe in there. But I just pure darkness. And then I'd sort of talked to my brother after. I was like, "Fucking hell, you didn't warn me about this." And he's like, "I'm sure, like it's nice and peaceful. Like it's just like staring into the abyss." And I was like, "I know that's exactly what you want for peace of mind is to stare into the fucking abyss." Like,
Yeah,
so it was.
fucking hell.
I haven't attempted it since. Well, not with my head under the water, and I haven't attempted it since.
Yeah, fuck's sake, man. Like, honestly, never would have thought of that. But so, had you ever done any swimming prior to that? I mean, was this your sort of real first
Ah,
time?
just messing about, like like just going to the Oma Leisure Centre as a fucking young one, like, and
The
then messing about doing a bit of surfing and nothing like wouldn't be a good swimmer in any way, but I was just like, ah, fuck it, I've got this wee buoyancy aid now. So you said it last time, are they like fucking water wings that you put on children? So it's
yeah,
sort of except it's on a leash.
yeah. It's
But
what's
so
Oma?
it's just
Is Oma Leisure Centre actually any good, or is it kind of one of those council things where you're like, oh, it has to be there, but it's not particularly good in terms of production value, like?
we were actually chatting about this with a friend of mine the other day. Like, since they like refurbished it and all, and like I think we actually we're at it today at Open, and it was like it looked class and all this here, but like fuck, I've been in it maybe once since it refurbished because there's a like a hot tub type job at the back of it, so that was my go-to.
Yeah.
But it used to be like when we were kids, it was absolutely shite. And I was chatting to somebody the other day. It was like the irony of it being a leisure centre, and then you went to the cafe in it, and the only thing you could get was like fucking cheesy curry chips.
Yeah. Get a fry.
Go and do your workout. Full on like diner style food in the
Yeah.
gym or beside the gym. Yeah.
I always
And
find
the leisure centre.
I find it weird when no people say that they go to the gym and they're into their fitness, but they drive to the gym. I'm just like, why are you so against walking to the fucking place? Like, do you know what I mean? They're like, if it's oh, it's about 20 minutes away. Well, if you're not willing to walk 20 minutes, you're hardly going to bench a fucking like 20 kg, whatever the fuck it is. Like, I don't know, there's you probably heard of it, Riversdale Leisure Centre in Strabane. I think it was
No, I
probably
haven't.
the same sort of setup where it's like there's like a gym and then there's like a big pool and stuff like that there, and you used to have to like get a pound for the locker, and like you got your pound back after. Do you remember that fucking bullshit? And you used to think like
Aye.
we used to think we were absolute lads. You know, like when you're young, you try and impress girls, even though you're like a wee gangly fucking twat. So you're just like in your wee fucking He-Man swimming shorts, and you're like a gangly fucking giblety milk bottle trying to act. And all we used to do was, do you remember you used to get like a key for the locker, and you could like put it around your wrist or around like around your ankle or some shit like that. We used to like
Aye.
take them off and fling them into the pool and be like, oh, I can go to the bottom and get that, and then you'd like come up holding the key as if like, oh, fannies, come at me. Do you know what I mean? Just feeling like the biggest gimp in the world, like. Oh, it's fucking. They're like. I think it's just like I've seen people. Like, you know, when you're in the pool, there's like a wee watch area. You know, if you've got like a toddler in there, you can fucking watch them swim and stuff. If they're doing wee classes and all. I've seen lads in there with bags of cans. So clearly, like, this is like pedo watching cattle. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, just in a wee blue bag, just loving life. Wee fucking Mac coat and all. Fuck's sake. So again, we've known each other for a wee while now, but for anybody who doesn't know you, you know, you're obviously a singer-songwriter by yourself, but mostly well known for the Hootenannies, who do you do various residencies by yourself around Belfast and the surrounding area.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Hootenannies have been on the go since you and the rest of the lads were with early secondary school sort of vibe, would it be? Or
But I actually fucking can't mind how. I think Ronnie actually knows how it started. I don't have a clue.
yeah.
But yeah, we're about 16, 17, and we all just liked music. And at the time, fucking, that's pretty much it. I wish there was a fucking really cool story
Yeah.
to it, but that's,
Do you like music, mate? Me too, man. We should do something about that. Them cunts like music. Do you hear that?
I've heard Ronnie. He's recalled it a couple of times, and I think it was something as simple as like me saying to him, "I think we're gonna start a band, me and you and Andy," and he was like, "Right, sweet." That was it.
No bother.
But yeah, and then it worked out for us all right because at that time Mumford and Sons were the fucking big thing, and we had a banjo player, so it was just like, sweet, let's get a bass drum and sound
Yeah.
these fuckers.
Because it's so mad. Like the Mumford had like a massive 2 to 3 years. Those first 2 albums, massive. And then I know they're still going, but they kind of, maybe it's just how the music business works, but they seem to sort of drop off the radar. But I suppose everybody does. Like, do you remember Gaga was everywhere? And then musically, Katy Perry, not as much. Even like, remember Emily Sante? She had like a big year. And then there's always
Jessie
like
J was a massive thing for a while.
Jessie J, which sounds like slang for a fanny. And who else? Like, even like, there's always like a singer-songwriter who's got a bit of a rare singing voice, but he's quite good. So you go from like James Morrison, Paolo Nutini, Newton Faulkner, that five, they all seem to get like a year.
Paolo's held about, in fairness, like
Yeah, but he's like an old Italian granda chatting about a recipe the way he sings. Like, oh, when's your Dolmio day?
Okay, it's working all right for him. Like.
I know. I did see him at Oxygen, to be fair, and he was lethal. This was like the
I've heard he's fucking langered most of the time when he's playing.
Oh, for sure. Maybe that's why he sings the way he does, because he's slurring his words.
Trying to speak.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of ones say he's been absolutely fucking paralytic when he's playing, like.
Really?
But supposedly, but
Yeah.
you're like fucking. Why not if he's enjoying himself? Sure, that's the main thing.
Yeah. It's cool when you see about anybody live and they're clearly off their head, but they're still lethal live. Like there's a certain amount of
Fuck.
fucking respect there. Like, you ever seen? Do you listen to Alice in Chains?
Superpower I wish I had.
Yeah. Do you listen to Alice in Chains by any
Uh,
chance? Yeah.
I've never listened to Alice in Chains.
Well, they
Never.
obviously they're like a underappreciated sort of grunge act, and they did like MTV Unplugged, and Liam Staley, their original singer, it like delivers this fucking raw, amazing vocal performance, and he's off his nut, like in between tracks, can barely fucking be a human being, but nails
I
every track.
envy that so much.
It's incredible, man. Because again, I
That is
would
so good.
I wouldn't know because like I've done stand up a few times blocked, and it's never really been incredible. Like it's been all right, but like
You?
you don't have to remember things. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whereas a song's a song, and you can't really change it. If you forget the lyrics, it's going to stand out. If I forget the middle of a bit that no one's heard, well, it's fine. No one's going to know my
I
mistake.
can,
But if you're blocked with the hootenannies and you forget like fucking the
there's
oil
ways around
triangle,
it. We don't even need to be blocked to forget the words of songs. We've just become experts in bullshitting our way through them when we do forget the words. Like,
all right enough.
so that's I even when we did the album, like we were, it's like Andy, but we always, it happens regularly. I'd be looking at Andy, your keyboard player, and like there's stuff that I'd be hearing him say, or like we were singing something together, and I'd hear something, I'd be like looking over at him, and he just smiles, like smiles back at me, as if to be like, don't have a fucking clue, mate,
Yeah,
not a notion.
that's madness, man.
So it's a good way of bluffing through it, like.
For sure. But I suppose, like, I mean, because your music's so upbeat and people are kind of jumping about like fucking Egypts anyway, that you could definitely get away with that. I think if you were doing like solo stuff, particularly stuff that's stripped back and quite slow, and people are sort of
It's a different
fixated on you,
ballgame, like.
you just be going, what the fuck did he just say there? He's chatting about. Did he say the Macarena there? Is it supposed to be fucking Grace?
Or we just oh fuck me.
Yeah,
It's a handy out, like, for us, if you can just fucking gibberish your way through it all the time.
for sure, man.
You can sort of make it fit in, like.
Yeah, I suppose what sort of dickhead, whether it's in a bar or even if they're watching like a live stream of you guys, is going to like comment, going, well, actually, the words, and you'd be like, here, fuck up, bro.
It's happened to me a couple of times.
Has it?
Fuck, there's one I'll never forget. I did one. I think I say I never forget, and I can't fucking mind it. It was in the
Yeah,
points in Belfast, and there were a group of Americans, and one of them was like, "Hey, could you play 'Call Me Al' by Paul Simon?" I was like, "Fuck, can we ever?"
yeah,
So
tune.
we cracked into it, and then after the first verse, first chorus, and then I was like, "Fuck me, I don't know any more of the words to this song."
Yeah,
So I just totally. But the problem was she was singing every fucking word of the song
oh,
while
right.
I was singing it. So like I got into the second verse, I could see her turning up to me, just being like, you know, like I just put my hands up. I was like, "No, look, I'm sorry, I don't have a fucking clue what the words are." But
Fuck, I mean,
yeah, you can get caught out that way.
that's a song you could easily get caught out to because obviously the verses, there's so many words. Because everybody just goes
A
like,
man walking down the street.
yeah, and everybody's just like, did it, did it, did it, did it. Like, if there's anybody doing it in karaoke, blocked, going, I'm going to do that Paul Simon song. Tops, there's about 3 lines. There's that, and then
No words.
You can call me Al, and what's the other one? It's always like, why am I stuck in the middle? And then after that,
Yeah.
it's gone. You're just like, did it. I'd love to see
Yeah,
that.
it's brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
brilliant. It's great for tunes like that. Just people take over the actual chant of it rather than the words. Like.
You can't beat the chant. Like, how many people really know the whole Will Griggs on Fire track, like word for word? Like,
I struggle to remember what the original of it is.
It's Freed from Desire.
Freed from Desire.
But I don't know the rest of it. I know like how it goes, but
Freed from Desire.
But I remember. Have you ever heard of Bill Burr? Suppose you have. Comedian Bill Burr.
Yeah.
He played the Ulster Hall, and he was talking about he was talking
What
about
did he
how
do, Ulster Hall?
this Shane opened for him. This would have been it was a good few years ago, about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Because he hasn't been back since. He's played like the Three Arena in Dublin ever since.
Yeah.
So we went and seen him, and he was it's from his like third special that's on Netflix, and he was doing a bit about how when you're talking about evil people, you always say Hitler, even though there's other cunts that have killed way more than him, like Genghis Khan and all. So he was like, okay, I'll describe it in music sense, and he was like talking about like how if you were going to describe albums, why bring up Hootie and the Blowfish when you could talk about like Thriller, and then he was like, if you aren't getting it, who's a famous, really well regarded, really talented Irish sports person? So you think someone shouted like George Best or whoever, and someone shouted out
or something.
yeah, somebody shouted out Will Grigg. So Bill Burr's like, and Bill Burr like Googled him on stage, going, I want to see what this guy's done. And like Will Grigg, bearing in mind, like I don't watch a lot of international football, but he didn't even start any of the matches for Northern Ireland. I think he's like a bench warmer, so he's not even like isn't he not? He doesn't really play that much. He's not like
I have no idea.
I genuinely don't think he even plays that much for them, but obviously because of the song, he's like the fucking focal point.
That's so much better. If he's like scored like one goal and that song's named after him, then like fucking hell, that makes it so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember there was one for Glenn Whelan. I don't know if he still does, but he played midfield for the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
And the tune about him, like Glenn Whelan, I've seen him play. No harm, Glenn, if you're listening. Shite. But the tune was, oh, what a feeling when you're watching Glenn Whelan. I think that's it. He's a legend. Yeah. Forever, he is a legend. Like.
Oh, is it because do you support Arsenal? Is that you? Did you say you support Arsenal?
Yeah, I support Arsenal.
Yeah, someone has to, I suppose. But I support Spurs, and end the podcast. But my favorite wee chant is Eric Lamela plays for Spurs, Argentinian player.
Yeah.
And his chant is everywhere we go, always take Lamela with you. And I again.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know, it's class. Like that's clever as fuck, and that's by some Spurs fan with a skinhead and an ankle tag. Probably fucking made that up, and it's cleverer than anything One Direction have ever fucking done. Anyway.
I have to give it to Liverpool fans as well. Like Jesus Christ, some of the chants. Like I know like a couple of my close mates are Liverpool fans, and every night that we've been on like a big rip, we always end up all of us singing Liverpool the best. Like that guy that made that one. With Salah, oh money, like, okay, brilliant. Like,
yeah.
And then there was Luis Garcia. The Luis Garcia song is one of the best I've ever heard in my life.
What's that?
Have you ever heard that?
I remember Luis Garcia, but I don't know what the song is.
Luis Garcia, he drinks sangria. He came from Barca to Liverpool. He's 5'7". He's football heaven. Oh, please don't take my Louis away. It's just brilliant. Your goal.
There's one I remember. I don't know the full thing, but they were saying Musa Sissoko, who plays for Spurs. He was like our record signing last minute, so he didn't start at Spurs particularly well. He's fucking lethal now, but when he started to get good, the Spurs fans started singing "Wake me up before you go. Who needs right? Who needs Beale when you've got Sissoko?" It's fucking class, man. How are you feeling about Arsenal at the minute? Because someone I did my solo podcast just before this, and someone asked, it was Mick Conlon from the String Ninjas, was like, "What do you think of Arsenal?" And I was like, and I don't hate Arsenal even as a Spurs fan. I hate West Ham, are my fucking most hated team, but
that's the last thing I need is Mick Conlon to affront me about Arsenal now that he knows I'm an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, because it's just weird that, like what I said in the podcast was, they don't really seem to know what they're doing or what they've got. I mean, there's doubts over whether Aubameyang's going to still play for you next season, but David Luiz gets a new contract, and you're like, he's a donkey. Like
it's just it's the most. I think they've been gearing up. It's just the most 2020 club in the world. Like everything is going wrong all over the place, and Arsenal are
Yeah,
just like, fuck it, we'll sign up too. Like
yeah,
it's but thankfully I'm not like I love watching football and stuff, but like I'm not a fucking diehard. Like if Arsenal lose, it doesn't ruin my day kind of
same.
thing.
I'm exactly the same. Yeah, I wouldn't
So
want to
like
be
it's
one of those types that gets, one of those bastards. It's like, oh, we lost today, we lost, and you're like, who's we?
uh,
What did you do?
we
You'd had tins of harp, and you didn't even put on jeans. You fucking waste of space. Had
in the same boxer for fucking 3 days.
Yes, slagging professional athletes, whether they do well or not. Like you can't, apart from David Luiz, you can't, you can't slag anybody.
Slagging professional, slagging professional athletes, right? But some explain this to me, Rui, in your infinite wisdom. How in the name of fuck do they need to add 5 substitutes and a water break for
Yeah,
lads that are getting paid 200 grand a week to be in shape?
I know it's fucking
How
disgusting.
how does that make sense? It's
It's
like I couldn't believe that when they're like, oh, these boys need a water break and you get 2 extra substitutes. Why?
yeah, it's fucking
They're like, it's not as if they're signing up for a fucking 5K. They're professional athletes, like.
yeah, because they keep going on as if like, oh,
But
fitness
yeah.
isn't out because of the lockdown, and I'm just going, they can afford to get a treadmill in the house, like. They're just, you know what I mean? They're just, oh, fitness is an issue. You're just going, well, just because they haven't played football doesn't mean you're not fit. Treadmill, do some weights, you can go run. There was nothing really stopping you even during lockdown, still going for a run by yourself, like. But
Jesus, I just can't get my head around it at all. Like,
it's
but
have you watched a match since the Premier League's come back and actually seen the water breaks in action, and it just ruins
no,
the
I
flow.
haven't
It's
seen
very weird.
I don't know, like the whole thing's quite kind of weird with the fake crowd noises and all. Like I seen one there the other day where there was like a shot, but it was like 10 seconds later the boy had obviously like forgot to hit the button. And it was like, ooh,
What the fuck happened there?
like it was just in the middle of normal play.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Now I'm glad to see the football back because I was thinking there, with like when the lockdown came in, you probably thought to yourself, right, I'm going to watch this TV show, I'm going to get, certain films, watch certain albums, listen to, and all that jazz. But I find now, because the lockdown's nearly over to an extent, I'm just like watching between, because all the streaming services everybody has, I'm watching like the rarest shit now. So I'm happy that soon I'll be able to go for coffees and all, because at the minute I'm watching like fucking, I'm watching like Scream, and then I'm watching an episode of One Foot in the Grave, and then I'm watching Cool Runnings, then Matilda, and then fucking Apocalypse Now, and you're like, Jesus Christ, it's the rarest day of my life. It's fucking weird, man. It's
It's a nice coverage. How you're covering all genres there.
Oh
That's the way
man,
to do it. Like,
taking Alabaxis. I don't know,
I don't even
like
think
it's,
I watched one film all lockdown.
what was it?
No, two. I watched Thor Ragnarok the day I got Disney Plus.
Uh,
Good enough. And I watched Booksmart on Prime Video,
I
which
seen
is pretty
Booksmart.
good.
It's Jonah Hill's
Pretty
sister.
good. I didn't know that, and then I was saying to all these my pals like, "Fuck, you should watch this. It's like a female super bad." And then
Yeah,
one of the lads like, "I sure it's fucking what do you call him?
Jonah
Jonah
Hill.
Hill's sister."
Yeah,
I was like, "Ah, right, okay." So it's the exact same. Like it's the same concept, like, but it's
pretty much. Yeah,
still a cracking film, hey?
it's
Pretty
class,
pretty
man.
good film, like.
I loved it. But it's like I didn't feel it was like a female Superbad, because I thought like it was funny in places, but it was a different thing to me. It wasn't like a straight comedy, but it was lethal. But
Yeah.
again, like
You know,
it
you're right. You're right.
it's
I haven't
on.
seen Superbad in ages. I just thought it was like the same kind of. But you're right. No, it was more of a balanced overall show, like, and
Uh,
just being a straight up comedy thing, like.
yeah, like the first time I saw
Quite a
Superbad,
watch.
I fucking loved Superbad from the start. Like I was 10 minutes in that film and I was sold. Like it's still one of the funniest films of all time for sure. Like
Yeah, I must actually give it a crack again. I haven't seen it in fucking years.
yeah, it's fucking
Years.
great, man. I don't know. I just can't. Well, I can still enjoy it, but as you know, being from a woman, that Chrissy Bowes, everyone calls him McLovin, and now I just can't take the film seriously. Where I'm just like, that's Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, and the guy who runs Daly's
Chrissy
Comedy
Bowes.
Club. Yeah, everyone call.
Chrissy's the beating heart of woman. Hey?
Oh, for sure,
Seriously.
man. I've never seen anybody as flat out.
Yeah.
I suppose would you have done gigs for him with the Hootenannies? Would he have been involved in music gigs at all? Or?
Chris is actually, yeah, he did. He got a few gigs for us. So a while back. Like I'm from outside Oma. Like I went to school and all in Oma.
Yeah,
But I did when we were starting out and stuff. They got us a few, threw us a few bones, you know.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, but sure, like he was always flat out with comedy stuff and kind of just Chris. He was just always involved in everything that was kind of fucking bringing people in and
aye,
positive about the whole thing, like positive about the whole town, really.
yeah,
So and even still, he's trying to plug everybody's streams and uh, get everybody noticed a bit, like so. Fair
yeah,
play to you, Chris.
yeah. God bless him. As you've done streams, obviously by yourself, and then you've done stuff with the Hootenannies, and I assume the stuff with the Hootenannies is better, like because I know you're getting
Far better. Fucking hell.
like by yourself. It must be weird. I mean, do you have someone looking after the stream while you're playing to make sure that it's still
Nah,
nah?
like it's the most. We have a serious now. We have a fucking. It's just turn it on, hope for the best, really. Like,
Uh,
we do like the sound check and stuff with the hootenannies, and then see the crack. But like with the ones when I was on my own, um, I just nipped that in the bud as soon as I could. Hey, as soon as I could get doing tunes for the boys, I was like, oh fuck this, because I get too nervous not being able to have a couple of cans. And then I did one of the streams. I had a few cans. I was like, I'm in a room by myself and I'm a half cut talking to my fucking laptop. What's happening?
yeah, I suppose that
So
must be rare. Like, did you find did you drink a lot over the lockdown? If that's not too like a person, I don't mean it in a personal
no,
way, but you know the way people seem to go really mad on it, where like every weekend, just out of boredom or whatever. And I was like, I haven't really
yeah,
done a few
no.
bits, but
I've actually, I think I'm kind of like, I think I said to you before, like I can't really say I've had a bad lockdown because I've been fucking trying new shit, like just eating healthier and fucking doing stuff, and I haven't really been drinking. Like apart from a couple of gigs I did with the lads and like a few, uh, like a fucking can or two of my dad when he's home. Like there's nothing.
uh,
I've been drinking way less, way less.
yeah.
I just don't see it. I don't know. I don't think I enjoy drinking unless it's with other people. Like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't think like I can enjoy a whiskey or a fucking Smithwick's here or there, but like, nah, it's not for me on my own. Like for sure,
Yeah,
it's just
some
not.
people seem to go really fucking mad on it. Where you've seen people that like panic bought like toilet roll and pasta. Then you've seen other people that were just getting decks of Heineken, and you're like, how long do you reckon this is going to last? Like everybody knew it was going to be a couple of months for the lockdown, but they were going on as if like, oh, it's going to be a year, and you're like, do you need 6 decks of Heineken really? Do you? Fuck's sake.
In fairness, I enjoyed that whole fucking panicky stage at the start of it because I was part of it myself, where I
Hmm.
was living in the city centre, like Paddy's Day. Um, there's a band, they're a fucking class band called the Merry Wallopers.
What a great name.
Don't know if you heard of the Merry Wallopers. They're a crowd of lads from Dundalk. They're fucking deadly.
Hmm.
But they did a live stream, and I had a couple of video calls with my pals, and I ended up like I was having a few cans of them in the video chats and that.
Yeah.
So that was alright, but I was dying the next morning, and I was like, right, I don't know how serious this thing is, and I had just had the fear, like, so it was. But then there's like a wee discount shop beside the fucking Iceland, beside Castle Court. I was like, I'll go in here and see what, because all the toilet roll had gone, all the pasta had gone, all the rice had gone,
Yeah.
and I had a fucking absolutely humming hangover on me. So I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna starve to death. What's gonna happen here?
Yeah.
So I did then to the wee discount place, and they were selling them. You know them like they're called Cliff bars. They're like energy bars for fucking like endurance mountain
Uh,
hikers or whatever.
I know exactly what you're
And they were like
talking about.
two. They were like two for £1. And I was like, give me 20. I'll take 20 of them.
Cliff.
And then I'll get through the year, and I'll be grand.
Yeah, Mick's getting a bulk on. Fuck's sake. Macaulay
I
bulking.
actually still haven't touched one of them.
Fuck, they're great. They are great though. I tell you what, they're fucking lethal. I have a feeling I
I've
know.
had one. They're tasty. Like
Is it? What direction did you approach the shop? Because I have a feeling I know. Did you walk like from the Primark direction or from like the Castle Court direction?
well, like where I used to live was um directly opposite Castle Court car park. You know where like the Iceland is.
Yeah. What's the
There's flats
what's
there.
what's the building called?
College Court Central.
Yeah, 'cause I live, if not like 2 seconds away from there. Weirdly enough, we'll talk about that more after we're recording.
Oh fuck
But
me.
yeah, it was fucking weird. Um, but So I think the place you're on
Ah,
about,
you know the shop I'm on about then?
yeah. So it's directly opposite the pound stretcher, and
Ah,
yeah, I know exactly. I haven't been in, but I know where you're on about.
fuck it, here. They'll never run out of clip bars now. Hey,
Fuck's sake,
you'll be set for life.
you can't beat them with fucking discount places where they're that happy to see you. You could probably haggle for sure. You probably could have got three for a pound, no doubt. Like,
I just wanted to make sure I was getting through the year that day.
yeah,
That was the whole. That was all that was on my mind. I was on the verge with the shakes when I seen there was no toilet roll or pasta or rice, so I
yeah.
had to make sure I got something.
So
And
did
I
you
bought fucking energy bars.
see when the lockdown was like official? Did you just basically bolt straight down to the folks? Was that you basically out of here?
No, no, I was in Belfast for about a month, uh, but then obviously had no gigs,
Yeah,
and then I was living on my own, so it's just like fuck this is shite,
aye,
and
true man.
didn't mind being there, but like when you couldn't really uh, go anywhere at that stage, or there was no like garden or fucking anything,
I think the garden's a
and
big
then
thing for not so much for me, but Lisa.
oh Jesus,
I suppose because you grew up
unreal.
in the country, as did she. She's just like, fuck, a garden would be very handy during all this jazz. I don't really miss it. I
I
would appreciate it if it was there, but when you don't have the luxury of that, when the weather was so good too, and you're stuck inside, and like your windows only open a certain fucking distance as well, so it's warm
I
outside, but unless you go out in it,
sitting
you don't really
fucking
feel the benefit.
I with your lips out the window trying to fucking suck in the air you can get like,
Oh, for sure. And like
but
it's worse as well because whatever way our fucking living room is set up, like when the sun comes in the window, it goes straight at the TV. So you're like, you feel like a miserable bastard. But you're like, I'm
blind
drawing the
slows.
I have blinds closed, curtains drawn. And I'm like trying to fucking watch Matilda here. Fucking.
Yeah, fucking apocalypse now or whatever else you're on.
That's weird. We probably we live quite close to each other then technically and never bumped into each other. That's fucking rare.
Yeah, fucking hell. See, like the only time I was always out, like I'd always had been out and about during the day because like I enjoyed living in that area because like I could go fucking it's like so handy to get to anywhere like.
Aye, absolutely,
And
man.
then yeah, and then I could walk back from gigs. I actually loved walking about at night time. Walking past that McDonald's every night was a treat.
Oh, for
Some
sure.
of the
It's
some of the sites like
the one in the city centre, like as of today or maybe yesterday, was is open now for takeaway. Man, the queue. See between that and fucking Primark, man,
Primark.
it's poverty
Jesus,
safari, man. Jesus Christ, like just the
how
queue.
badly do you need ankle socks? Like,
Yeah, how do you like? And how much do you need ankle socks and mozzarella sticks from McDonald's? Like you can wait. Like plus the guy I walked up past McDonald's, went for a run down at the Odyssey today, and then I was walking past and there's security guards coming out to the guy, all the people in the queue, and he was like, if you download the app, order on the app, you don't have to queue. You just walk in the front door, and you've got your order number, and you just collect it. And like I remember sort of looking back a couple of minutes later to see if anybody had done it. Nah, queue still about 200 people, and I was like, just get the fucking app. Do you know what I mean? And like you probably see someone going in like, oh, I just got a small chip. You're like who does that? I've seen
uh,
seen
poor
people do that.
lads.
I've seen it, and it fucks me off. Like,
Poor lads definitely blue in the face telling people that too. Like,
oh, absolutely. Like, it must be like that McDonald's must be hell. That one in the city centre of Belfast must be
oh,
fucking horrendous,
Jesus,
man.
but even at night time when you like when you be in it, like you can see the staff even just fucking like they just they kind of accept how mental it is and like laugh about it themselves.
Yeah, because
And then my favorite thing about that McDonald's, Jesus Christ, it's I've only witnessed this phenomenon once, but it was just typical of Belfast too. But the order numbers come up, and they're all calling out the order numbers, and the numbers were coming up on the board, and 69 went up to the preparing part,
yeah.
and then it was like order ready, and everybody's going, oh, you know, it's 69. No!
That's such a
It was one of
Belfast
them.
thing.
It was one of them moments where I was like, I fucking love this city. Jesus.
For sure, because I don't know
Okay.
what you feel, but you know I know a lot of people when I was in secondary school and getting ready to go to uni, and so there was loads of people in my year that actively said they were like I wouldn't go fucking anywhere near Belfast, and they all went to like Liverpool or wherever, and they all came back, and most of them are actually back in Strabane now ever since. But I know that
Yeah.
obviously the last couple of years Belfast has got even better. But I
Yeah.
loved it from the start. Like I was living in Elms, and then obviously I lived even when I was living in shite like student houses, and I hadn't even bear in mind when you're a student and you live in Holy Lands or wherever, you don't really go in and see the city centre bar if you're going into like, do you remember like Rain and places like that and like nightclubs that,
Rain,
yeah,
Jesus.
fuck's sake. But living here now, like I must be near a decade living here, and for me, like
Yeah.
I will defend anybody that slags it off. To be totally honest, I would get annoyed if
Yeah.
someone was like, "It's a dump," and I was like,
I'm
"Well, it's
I'm
got
the
its
same, to be honest.
yeah,
I'm the exact same. Like, like even being from like Tyrone and stuff, like what you say, a lot of people that I grew up to and grew up with and went to school with went to it and went straight home, either went straight home afterwards after uni and then left, or else left. And I think the whole thing is that people kind of seen it as like a student city and a place not to stay, and then when they've had that, you don't really get to see the next side of it when you're not a student
yeah,
and you're living and working there, which is I've lived there. I lived there when I was 18 for a couple of years and then moved back 5 years ago.
yeah,
And the best thing about it for me, anyway, is that it's getting better every fucking year. There's new food in Belfast is stupidly good. There's new
absolutely."
restaurants all the time. They're class. There's new bars that are original bars. Like it's not like I don't know about you, it's Strabane, but like at home here anyway, it's just like clones.
Oh, for sure.
Um, yeah, and then like it's just I really do. And then the people are fucking. Yeah, what you see is what you get with people in Belfast, like, which is
Very much so.
it's
I can
admirable. Like,
like. There's obviously, I think it's mostly like an Northern Ireland sort of thing, but you know, if you like people in Belfast or wherever, they're all dead on unless they're working. Do you know what I mean? Like if you bump into someone on the street in Belfast looking for directions, no bother. But the person who
uh,
works at Tourist Information will be a miserable bastard. Do you know what I mean? But if you just bump into some random guy, even if he's shooting up heroin, he'd be like, "I City Hall's up there." He'd be like, "Good lad." Do you know what I mean? There's a pound.
yes.
Do you know what I mean? But I agree with you though. I mean, like in terms of nightlife, and as speaking as someone that's I'm out doing gigs, but I'm not like one of those comedians, or I'm sure you've seen like people that play in bars that just drink their wages away. Basically, they get paid and they
Yeah,
just pound all night. But so I like have a reasonable semblance of nightlife, even though I'm not always in it. But as you say, like the
yeah.
amount of bars that opened and they're all doing well. Like there's not one that's really in the city centre eating dick in terms
No,
of
and it's
making money. Like anywhere in the Cathedral Quarter is spot on for years. Like
yeah, and then like even like I compare it to like my girlfriend is in Dublin,
yeah,
and like I love Dublin too. It's a nice city, but like I don't think it has a fucking patch in Belfast to be honest with you. Like
100%.
just like the like it's a nice place. There's lots of great places in it, but in Belfast you can be anywhere in fucking 20 minutes walk,
Mm.
and nearly like the whole social scene is to go to the pub or to do something like that, and that's great too. Like there's obviously other things to do, but even like the bars that have come up in the last couple of years, like fucking like the likes of Pugs, Points, and even in like you say, Cathedral Quarter, and Ulster Sports Club, it's a fucking cracking venue.
Oh,
Like
it's lethal,
there's
man.
just so many great spots. Like
Yeah, like
yeah,
Ulster
it's
Sports
deadly.
Club. The Ulster Sports Club is like Phoenix Nights. Do you know what I mean? It's like and I mean that in the best way. Ulster Sports Club. I've only been once, and it's like a wee maze, and it just feels like a place that would have like a shite like Billy Joel tribute act, and
Oh,
then
I love it. I love the fact that it looks like every community center I've ever been in as
yeah,
a child.
oh
Like
for
it's
sure,
just like the wee booths and oh fuck, it's great.
it's
And
great.
then they have a funk night on Fridays. Funk night, like that is the coolest thing you could possibly do as a new bar is be that ballsy and be like, ah, you know what? Sure, we'll stick funk music on every Friday night.
Yeah, I love those
Fucking
wee
legend.
places that'll be like whatever gets the people in. So there's like a funk night, Def Jam poetry, German trance. Do you know what I mean? Foam party. Do a fucking foam party. I would go
Everything, like, yeah.
for sure. Like it's
Fun part.
plus like I was in there for my Christmas do last year. We went to like what we had food somewhere, and then we were having drinks, and then someone was like, "Let's go Ulster Sports Club," and it was busy, but we all got seats. But I didn't realize that taco place, Taquitos, It's like a wee
Oh
van down
Jesus,
at the
yeah,
Odyssey. They were
yeah.
working out of there as well. So you seen like you could get
That's
like a
right.
pint of
Yeah.
Haverley and a couple of like cauliflower tacos, and you're like, this is the fucking weirdest thing. And there's like a DJ in the corner that you would have had at your 18th, and like the wee
I'm really
tiny
sure they had a
setup.
disco ball in it, or am I just romanticizing
They
it?
fucking do disco ball, and then like purple tinsel behind them, and it's just a big
Hey,
thing.
that shitty tinsel fucking stage. Ah, I
Here we
love
go.
it so much. It's such a spot. Like
Yeah,
they're just ballsy, eh? Like the minute they put up that Ulster says you thing, I was like, fuck, that's it. Hey, I'm in here.
I know.
I'm
Like
going there.
that's again wordplay that deserves on a football chant for sure. Because I love all that.
Oh, what like
What was there any like school discos in Oma? Because I know that usually when I
there
started
was.
drinking, there was always people saying we're getting a bus up to Sally's or whatever, and I know people from Oma used to come down to Katie's. I never did any of that, but in terms of like wee school discos, was there any of those fucking shit shows?
Would you went there? Did you? I thought
Or
because people from here, like because I'm from, I'd say like I'm from Carrickmore Bear direction. Like
yeah,
we always went to the Cregan disco.
I've heard of that.
Uh, I wasn't allowed to go to the one in Killiclahar because that's where all the vicious townies were, according to my man dad. So
Vicious
I had to hang out
townies.
with my fellow culties at the Cregan,
Yeah.
Cregan disco, and then like we went to Glenavon then in Cookstown and get buses to go to
Uh,
Glenavon. Fucking hell.
what was
Yeah.
it? What was the Craigan like?
But
Was that the more sort of working man's club sort of vibe?
I'd working I just a pile of like 12-year-olds sitting with pints, but
Yeah.
it was it was literally again like any it was just I'm pretty sure it was like an old I don't know what it was. It looks like a nearly like a church hall. It was just an open like there's
Yeah.
bingo in it. That's the kind of place we're talking about.
Fuck.
There's a stage and an open floor. So that was it. And yeah, a DJ, fucking same DJ every time it was there.
Yeah.
Last Friday of every month.
Dirty.
Oh, it was the best time.
Dirty.
It was class crack.
We used to go to the one at St. Pat's Hall in Strabane or the Melmount Centre. So even just those names, you can tell. And it was always ran by
It
like,
sounds
it was,
like this fucking a mark being held at the Melmount Centre.
yeah. And it's fucking, like a load of people who obviously like volunteered for the church overseed it. So no, you'd have like a couple of old men and women that would make sure nobody's up to
That was
anything. So you'd be like, don't you
that's
be,
the part now. Looking back, it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's like pile of fucking dads standing around like bouncers, and there's
uh,
just kids fucking tackling each other all over the place.
oh, for sure. Like I remember, like, like there used to be someone that would like stand and watch you at the tuck shop, and all you were getting was like no Vitazaid. Remember the wee fucking lemonades, and just like looking at you as if like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
what do you think? I've got a half bottle of Glens, and when I'm 13
yeah.
in my back pocket, which probably some lads did, but it's fucking creepy that all these old women would just dander about and make sure that you weren't having any crack. So if you were trying to like mosh to Papa Roach or some shit, they were like, "No, that's too violent," and then like, like you couldn't really get the tackle in the room. You had to go like around the back or something like that there, which there was nobody about there. Like to be able to say three fingers is a bit too much, to be honest. You know what I mean? That's a bit excessive there, Declan. You're like, here, yeah, she loves it. Fuck's sake,
I
man.
mean, I actually, this just, I've never even thought about this place in fucking ages. I don't know where you dug that question out of me, but that's actually just thinking. I was with one of my buddies at the the wee fucking bar, bar. I want to say bar. What do you call it when it's not a bar but it sells Vitazaid? I suppose it is. There's a wee
Shop.
soft drinks bar shop. I tuck shop. We're
Yeah,
at the tuck shop.
the wee tuck shop.
And like we were getting 3 cans of Coke. I'll never back out fucking just and the lad I was with goes, boys, it's my round. 3 cans of Coke. Us with like a fucking cube between us. It's my round, boys.
Yeah, can we get a shot of fucking Iron Brew or some shit? I remember the best thing I ever heard, honestly, was do you remember like back in the day? I don't know if it was the same at the Craigan, but remember when you were a kid, you wouldn't have asked the girl yourself, for the tackle. You would have
Go
got your
your
mate.
friend.
You get your mate to do it, and you have to stand there as if you don't know what's happening. And you didn't have like phones or anything to look at, so you had to pretend that you were like unaware that your mate was going, here, do you fancy a slice of the MICK pie? Do you? So remember this guy was keen on this girl, and I don't know where they're from to this day. So I don't know, maybe they came in from wherever. But the guy was keen on this girl, and I'd noticed him over the night. He tried a few times. His mate tried for him, and he was like, ask her again," and she just wasn't keen, right, for anything. And he basically just like overheard him say outside the toilets. He said there, he was like, "If you let me finger you, I'll buy you a chippy." And you know what?
Fuck.
That was a
Who
good.
says romance is dead, boys?
Oh fuck! Here, just let me finger you, and I'll get you a better sausage meal. Because I wonder now if there's kids in Belfast, you know, like, "If you let me buck you, I'll take you to the chip co."
Ah, fucking hell,
Dirty.
that is just brilliant there now, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a good chippy van too, though. Like, to be fair, she'd have got a
I
good
was gonna
feel. Like,
say, you said a chippy. That's fucking weird to just stand out and wait in our mummies and daddies to lift us.
it was a wee van. Remember that chippy vans like that? That's a dead thing now. They all used to be lethal.
There used to be one in Oma Depot, hey, and it was just the go-to before you went home. Like everybody emptied out every bar in Oma and went to Oma Depot to get a taxi home.
Nah,
Especially us living out in the sticks, like there was a chippy van there. It was fucking out of. There's still one in Enniskillen.
is
The
there?
muck truck in Enniskillen.
I've heard of that.
The muck truck, hey. It's a lifesaver, boy.
Fucking hell, man.
Unbelievable.
Like, I
Side
think.
food, but like unbelievable that
Well, I
you can have
suppose.
it at that time of the night.
Yeah, at that time of the morning, you're just keen for something warm and that kind of tastes like curry sauce. But I
Do
think.
you know what?
Are you going? You're right.
Oh, sorry. It was just about just like in there. My girlfriend's from Limerick, and she took me to a place in Limerick one time called Costies, and she was like, "I know you're gonna like this place," and I went in and I just seen there was like an upstairs had like a full floor of like, do you know like a 70s rug across the whole floor, like just a big fucking like nearly like a shag carpet the whole
Right.
floor. You could just smell like stale pints of it. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, this is class. Like I went up to the bar and it was like maybe 1:30 in the morning, like, and I was getting the round of drinks, and the boy goes to me, and will there be any food at all? And I was like, will there be any what? And he's like, do you want any food? And I was like, is that an option? Like
Yeah.
selling fucking toasties behind the counter. What absolute geniuses! Like
Yeah.
ham and cheese toasty at 1:30 in the morning. Oh,
You can't argue that. You
it's
really can't. Like, how much was it?
entrepreneurs, boys. Entrepreneurs.
Fucking mad. Like, what was it? A couple of pounds just?
I think it was like £2 maybe for a ham and cheese toasty along with your
Here,
pint. Like
like more places. Like, I know a place in Dublin at the minute. A mate of mine owns it, and he's like, it's just a bar, but he's a bit of a chef, and he's like, we just do ridiculous toasties. Like, it's just like ham and cheese, but it's like proper ham and like a couple of different cheeses, and it's like grilled like
oh,
fuck. But here, for a couple,
unreal.
but see, if you were having a pint with it and they were like, it's a tenner for a toasty, you'd be like, no bother, no bother, mate. Like,
Oh,
you would get it in you for sure. Like, I think
yeah.
I would take,
That's a bizarre sight to see everybody.
oh, for sure, like,
See
all
everybody in the
the
dance
bar.
floor with a pint and a fucking toasty.
And
That's what it is. Like that's pretty much it.
because imagine if that place was flat out, like if you're in a really busy club or a bar, like New Year's Eve or some shit, and you're getting around in, and like I remember like the night we seen you in Pugs one Christmas, where like me and Lisa and her family were there, and Jesus Christ,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
this was an exception to the rule, but this order would have fucked off any bar staff. No, you're like, can I get 4 pints of Guinness, 2 vodka and white, porn star martini? Can I get a pint? Like, can I get a bottle of cider? And this real epic order that's going to take a bit of time. But imagine
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
wee place where you're like, can I get like 6 toasties? Can I get 9? So like you're doing the pints, you're making up the fucking cocktails, but you're sitting there the
Fucking, they weren't fucking about. Hey, there was a couple of toasty machines on the go that night.
here. Imagine just here. I tell you what, that's a gap in the market. They
I think they're
can,
a designated toasty maker. In fairness,
yeah, he'd need it.
so fucking he needs a raise. That man, he had his work cut out for him that night.
Ingenious, huh? I think like Every bar should do food. That's a thing I believed since I was old enough to
That's
be
it.
in one. Even
Loads
if
of them are
it's
gonna have
just
to now, aren't they? Like,
true, man. Yeah, I mean, I've always said bare minimum. You know those big things you have at like a wake to keep like stuff. I don't know if you've got a big thing of soup.
sandwich platter, pretty much.
Yeah, like do sandwich platter or even just soup or like those big things that look like a big keg but it's
Ah,
black
yeah, yeah.
and
Big
you
a keg of soup. Aye.
yeah soup or like even something like chili or curry and just be like it's £3 but if you're buying a drink along with it it's £2 and it should something that can sit all day and not go bad and just be like here there you go
It's
stick
a
in the
good
bowl.
idea. Aye.
I think everywhere should do
I
it.
mean, we used to. There was me and Fergal McMahon, a friend of mine. We went used to go to Sally's when we were both living at home.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go to Sally's on Thursday nights around Christmas time because there's a band called Naughty Pine playing. Have you ever heard of Naughty Pine?
I actually have, yeah, but I've no idea why.
Oh fuck me, they're good. Hey? They're like a bluegrass fellas. They're
Yeah,
all individually unreal musicians. Like
yeah.
play a bluegrass session every Thursday and or session every Thursday in Sally's. But we started going around Christmas time and they come out with fucking turkey, ham, stuffing, and cranberry sandwiches. You're not leaving there, like.
Exactly. See, maybe that's the thing that most of the time if a pub's not doing food, you'll have to leave eventually to go get fed. And then,
Uh,
particularly in Belfast, I mean, if you're in fucking, say you're in, like, not Spoons, but say you're in, like, the Points doesn't do food, does it?
no, the Points tried doing Chris sandwiches for a while, which was I actually really thought that was a good idea because it's a pure like it gets a lot of tourists up there, and then
Yeah,
like like Americans coming in that they see like a fucking ham and cheese sandwich with crisps in it, they're like
they
Jesus,
freak out, man.
blows their minds, like yeah.
But maybe that's the
So,
thing about having food in the bars. It'll fucking keep you there because I've left bars before that don't do food. You know, like you go get Subway or fucking KFC, and then you're like, well, should I go back to the house and get a car out? Because particularly in Belfast, if you on a Saturday you're in a bar and then you leave to go get food, you're not guaranteed
you're
to get
fucked.
a
You're not
seat
going
when you
back.
go
Like
back. Like so,
nah, not a chance.
fucking hell, man.
No way.
Everywhere should be doing food just to keep you in the door. But I say particularly the Points. It's now you say that weird that the Chris sandwich didn't take off because like those tourists will eat anything up, anything that looks. Because the fact that it does Guinness, they're just like, oh my god, and then they see you guys, and they're like, this is probably exactly what we pictured, with obviously slightly
Yeah,
less fire, but like,
that's that's like fucking. It's a full on like what is it like? There's like a some like what was it like Paris syndrome or something? Like those the tourists get when they go to Paris, and then it's not like what they imagined it to be, and they freak out.
yeah,
I feel like that's what people go in the Points to go in and be like they hear people playing Irish music and then get their Guinness and have a crust sandwich and just fucking
yeah.
lose their wee minds.
I suppose, yeah. I think
I don't know why they stopped it. Like,
it's weird, man. But I think when an American thinks of an Irish bar, the Points or somewhere like White's Tavern is pretty much the image of what they're getting. Probably the Points more so because
yeah,
there's music and there's like a wee fire and it's kind of like very sort of lowly lit as well, like so and it's got the wee
yeah.
biffs and like does well
In
from
fairness, Madden's for that kind of stuff. Hey, Madden's and Kelly's, Jesus, Madden's, Kelly's, and Whites as well. But like,
yeah
fuck me, it's hard to be Madden's or Kelly's for proper for any tourists that might be listening.
yeah
And
for sure.
but Madden's is my favorite Irish bar in Belfast, like for sure. For myself
That's
to go and have a drink, like.
that's not too far from where we as we found out both
Yeah,
live. Yeah,
from where we live.
yeah. Because it didn't
Aye,
wasn't Ed
yeah.
Sheeran in there one night? I heard. I did
I
hear
couldn't
that.
tell you. It could well have been it's a big place for like Irish like big boy Irish musicians like the likes of yoga and stuff when they're up. They go to Madness and shit like that.
Yeah,
Um, so like yeah, it's a proper fucking upstairs in Madness is like the most like I love McCann's and almost one of my favorite places. It's just a nice like wee old old bar, but like my problem with bars if I'm not playing is that I can't fucking hear. I'm seriously deaf, so I
yeah,
have to be somewhere where I can hear anybody that I'm with talking.
yeah.
And like
That's a
Madden's is one of them places. Like
that's a massive thing. I even find that in Strabane because obviously anytime I'm home, it's at the weekend. You're sitting and I obviously catch up with my mates who I haven't seen that live down there. Go for the
yeah,
stouts, and then you sort of chat for about an hour, and then some again all sound lads because I know most of the people that play in there, but they're right beside you, and then there's they blast into stuff, and you're just like, what am I supposed to fucking do now? Like, cause
Uh,
I can't hear the mate
Sitting in
who's
silence,
a
like.
meter away from me, and you're just going, well, that's that done. Because what do you? Because it's just usually downstairs in the bar. So what are you going to
Bedtime.
do? Just gonna be like, just start dancing? What the fuck are you supposed to do that? Like, that's definitely a thing. Like,
It's something I can't. Like, I'm totally useless to anybody if that's the case because I can't hear them.
yeah,
Like, there's just no point. Like, I can't contribute anything because I can't hear a fucking thing that's going on.
yeah. Like, I think if places are going to do live music at the weekend, they should have a separate, at least like a back room or an upstairs, and be like, if you're coming out here to dance and fucking hear live music, go upstairs. But like the people in the bar can just fucking keep chatting away, and we just have the jukebox on a bit louder and
Yeah.
just fucking chat. But that annoys me as
I think
well.
where would you go like if you're in Belfast like going for a jar, where would you go?
Um, Let me think. It depends. Like a lot of my mates up here don't really go for a drink, but if I went for a pint, it'd probably be Tom Hodkinson. Do you know Tom? You know Tom, don't you?
Ah, yeah, no Tom. Yeah.
So when we both worked in the Dublin Road, the points we would do that. Katie Daly's. It's always good crack. Whites, Pugs is
Oh
good for a
fuck
pint,
yeah, yeah,
and
that's a good spot. Yeah.
I quite like the Empire. I have to be honest.
Aye, the Empire is
And
nice. Yeah,
then of course,
fucking wild spot for gigs too.
yeah, and then Lavery's, the woodworkers in Lavery's is my favourite bar in Belfast.
Yeah, I Lavery's is class. Jeez, I haven't been to Lavery's in ages. Hey.
I know, man.
Fuck.
It's like Lavery's is one of those places that just does everything. Like if you want to go play pool,
Yeah,
watch football, you want to eat, you could bring mates who are visiting and comfortably go. You'll be grand in here somehow. You
yeah,
know what I mean? It's class, man.
yeah, yeah.
It does
I
good.
fucking never even thought of that actually. It's a good spot.
It is. And it does good Guinness because I was going to ask you as a guy that likes Guinness in Belfast, where do you think does the best Guinness?
Madden's hands down. Madden's easily. Uh,
Right enough.
yeah, no, there's no question. Madden's does the best pint of Guinness.
Yeah.
Then, but again, I relate to McCann's because McCann's and Oma to me does the best pint of Guinness I've ever tasted.
Oh, right enough.
And oh god, it's so good. And then you know like fucking hell. Do you know Ross Morrison though?
No, I know I don't.
Dude,
I did think about it, but no.
Tom would know him. Like, it sounds like a fucking a famous rock star name, like in fairness. But uh, Ross said to me one day, and it was the best fucking description of a good pint of Guinness I've ever heard. He goes, "You should not be able to tell in the perfect pint of Guinness. You shouldn't be able to tell where the cream ends and the black begins." And I was honestly I felt like fucking applauding him. It's just the most spot on. You shouldn't be able to tell the difference between when the foam ends and where the black stuff begins. It should
Here,
just
tell
be
you,
all one big creamy sip.
yeah, you really can't argue with that, can you? Like,
That's just
that's
it's the
fucking,
perfect
it's
description of it. Like.
fucking perfect. You're right. Did you ever go to the factory in Dublin?
Where?
The
Oh, it's James's. Yeah, 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 yeah.
um,
Yeah, it's the factory. Fuck's that.
Guinness factory.
Yeah.
It's quite good. I enjoyed it.
I, it was grand. Like it was a day out. Like the Bushmills factory is actually quite good too. But like it is. It's kind of they're very similar in things like aren't they? I went to the Heineken one in Amsterdam as well.
I did
Although
that.
it's a fucking trip. In fairness, it's pretty trippy. Like
Yeah, I went to. We did Heineken, and then the Bowls Museum. You know Bowls, that liqueur shite. BOLS. It's spelled. Did you ever hear that shit?
oh yeah, yeah,
We went
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and it was just fucking. That was weird as well. Like this again. I think it's just designed for people that are stoned to the dick, which I wasn't. Because you ever hear my story about trying to smoke weed in Amsterdam? I do it in stand up.
I think so actually.
Where
Yeah, yeah.
I just fainted, just immediately. I
It's a
took.
cool story. Yeah.
I know. I basically took the strongest thing because I was scared of looking like a fucking twat in front of my mates. Pre-rolled thing, thinking, "Oh, this will make me look like a hard man." And then because I don't smoke, whatever way I tried to smoke it was wrong. Well, I thought it was wrong. Turns out it was spot on. So I immediately took like three more trying to do it right, and then that was me on the floor.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it.
It's fucking. I'm the same. Like I don't smoke. Like, but obviously in Amsterdam we played a few times over there.
Yeah,
So like we're a lot younger. We're only 17, 18 at the time.
yeah,
So obviously we fucked about a bit. But like we smoked one night. and we were coming back, and like I don't know if you noticed this about Amsterdam, but you know the stairs are incredibly steep. They're like fucking more or less vertical.
Yeah.
But we were on the third floor of the above the bar that we were playing in, Mulligan's Bar in Amsterdam. Fucking brilliant spot too.
Yeah.
But we are in the third floor above it, and it was maybe my second time ever smoking weed, and it was because the first time was also when I was in Amsterdam with the boys,
Yeah.
uh, playing like, and we are coming up, and there was like our door here, and then another flat here, and it was maybe half two, 3 in the morning, and they'd left their door open, and the fucking shower, it was like one of them bath showers, and the what do you call it, the shower curtain was fucking covered in blood. So we didn't say anything, and we just walked in their room, and we had like two bunk beds, and none of us spoke to each other for honestly about 15 minutes, and we all got into bed. None of us said anything, and Ronnie just goes, "Boys, didn't he see that?" And Andy was just like, "We're not fucking talking about it. We're not going to talk about it. Just let's not talk about it." But we got up the next morning. It was just one of them fucking psycho. She just had like a that was the shower curtain design, but we were all whapped out of it. Thought fucking.
Someone was murdered.
I didn't sleep a wink. I didn't sleep a wink. I didn't sleep a like. I had like I don't know what you call like 50 panic attacks in a row, but that's essentially what happened.
But you were saying,
Fucking
so
hell.
you were gigging there. I mean, one thing I've noticed, and I assume you've noticed it now from playing the point so much, but when you're playing with the Hootenannies, even though it's so quintessentially Irish folk, even with the covers, there's obviously that twang to it. But no matter
Yeah,
where
it's
you're
pretty much all
from,
folk. Yeah.
yeah, people seem to fucking love it. Even like people, because obviously I know you've played in the States and you played a lot around Europe and other places, but people just seem
Yeah.
to just love it. I know it's very upbeat, but they just seem to be like, this is
It's
proper stuff. It's good. It's very
it's
unusual.
nearly like it's nearly yeah, it's nearly like fucking I don't know. It's I think it's like nearly it's I'm gonna sound like a fucking dickhead about it. It's nearly like primal, like because all it needs for like especially with folk, Irish folk in particular, like and a lot of trad stuff because we do the folk side of things and then usually Ronnie rips in with a fucking a trad tune, like and
Yeah,
all it needs is that fucking thump behind it,
yeah, absolutely.
really. And then we've some fucking very talented drummers playing with us, our McCallan and Tara Tracy and Zagata over the years. So like whenever you add that to it and kind of gives it a bit more rhythm, people just go fucking mental. And you
Yeah,
don't need to like Irish music or any kind of like some of the times the way we played it, it's ended up being like a fucking trance tune more than like Ronnie. There's times I swear Ronnie's playing fucking Sandstorm in the banjo, like he's moving that quickly. But like
yeah,
especially in Europe, people love that shit. Time they really do. They love it. Stuttgart in Germany, I'd said to you before, that was the most mental experience. And then, like, I was just mental, absolutely mad. Like,
yeah. You were saying you were
they
crowd
were
surfing
going
and everything.
plain nuts. I crowd surfed them.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, that it was fucking mental, absolutely mental. They loved the time,
Yeah.
but
It's class, as you say.
I
It's
just
that
fucking loved it back.
primal thing for sure. It has to be just like, and I suppose because obviously you've done weddings. You did my wedding, fuck's sake. But
Yeah,
like there's just something about it that people just as soon as they hear something they know they get stuck straight into it. Like because
yeah,
I always worried. I've been to a few weddings where it took a while for it to kick off. In terms of the band, even if the band
yeah.
were lethal, and particularly like because obviously I got married in the Villa Rose and the food is so fucking nice. I was going, if anybody has energy to dance after that fucking feed, God bless them, because I barely did. First dance, I was getting a fucking stitch, and I was just like, I was worried, but because obviously you did our first dance, and then you got in. I think it was
Something
pitch.
fucking mad straight after it usually.
It was like I want to say it was "Take My Hand" by Picture This. I want to say I have the
Could have
playlist
been,
somewhere,
yeah.
but then as soon as like that did very well, mostly with the young ones who knew it, and then I think you did Hills of Connemara, and just even if you didn't really know it,
Yeah,
just the way that it's din 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 din, it's really fucking upbeat,
yeah.
and then the sod,
Everybody knows that tune. Like.
oh, then the one track, and again I pride myself in doing a good playlist. There's one track that you play that I was going, I don't think this will do very well, and I was proved fucking wrong. Was the Saw Doctors? I used to love her because I don't.
Ah, kills
Oh, sir,
at
fucking.
weddings, say.
Oh, mate, it's just the whole place. Even people I was going, I did not expect you to even fucking like this. And they were like,
But it is. It's one of. I think we said the last time too. Like it's just one of them things where there's like a select group of songs
yeah,
that you would never choose to listen to outside of this fucking setting of an Irish wedding. Like
yeah,
that is it.
absolutely,
And it's like Saw Doctors is one of them, and like Maniac 2000 is another one.
absolutely,
And it's need to bless myself when I say it, but like it's just one of them tunes that like
for
as soon
sure.
as it comes on, it doesn't matter what age anybody is. There's like I've seen like fucking 70-year-old women who have just been to enough weddings that are kind of now know the words to Maniac 2000.
Yeah.
It's just
She had to
it's one
have
of
her
them tunes.
frill.
And you always see them still the same dance move, like
Yeah. But like,
it's not broke, don't fix it. Like.
because sometimes you get like like I think in terms of like weddings and like 18th and 21sts, grandparents and like elder aunties and uncles, they either go one or two ways where they're like so obliging and so nice because it's your day. They'll be like, I don't care what music's played, I'll go up and dance. So even if you're like an alternative couple and you play a bit of Linkin Park, the grannies are still one step closer. You know what I mean? All that shit. But then you get the ones that obviously wouldn't abide it at all. They're like, that's too fucking loud. It's fucking shite. Where's fucking Frank Sinatra and all that shit? But
uh,
but what
it
do you?
happens. It's
Yeah, like how do you deal with that if you're doing a wedding for like me and Lisa listen to a lot of alternative stuff, but I didn't ask you to play Pantera at any point. Like you know what I mean? I should
shoot
have
it.
now. I fucking should have.
It's
Now, here, if the Hootenannies haven't got a Pantera cover in the next couple of weeks after
I
I've give you that diamond idea.
I'm trying to get more now that we're all in the same country for the first time in like 3 years. We're trying. I'd love to try and get some fucking old school disco or heavy tunes done. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
uh, but yeah, no, it is one of them things that just happens. Like sometimes you get people that are totally laid back, and like a buddy of mine's wedding, we put on the first song after we finished. We put on. Do you know A Day to Remember, the band?
Yeah, I do.
And we put on Downfall of Us All by A Day to Remember. It was the first tune after like once it started, it was just fucking
Did it? Oh yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
This went mad. Um,
Fuck's sake, man.
and then there's other ones where it's just not the case, like where you get like we've had like brides and grooms come up and be like, look, we booked yous because we like yous and we've seen yous, but like big fucking aunties fucking in the back there, she's raging that there's not any jiving music. And I'd be like, that's all right. Well, look, we'll play a couple of jiving songs then.
Mm-hmm.
And then you like, I'll know because they'll point out where it is, and I'll know that she'll not get up
Yeah.
for a start, and then it's just killed the whole dance floor.
Oh
So
man.
like, it's you do get that, but like, I think we don't really pay much attention to it because I think most of the people that have us there know that they know what we do and
Yeah.
they've heard us before or seen us before, so it's not as big an issue, thankfully for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can imagine it's a ball ache like what was the case a lot of the time.
Yeah. Because
Then you do like we've had weddings where people have asked us to like completely tailor their list, and like I've had done one before where like they give me the entire start to finish what they want from our set, what they want from the DJ set, and it was fucking class because
yeah.
for me it's so much easier.
Yeah. Because
Like it
I did
was,
that
it was
sort of. I give you sort of like a loose idea for both. I think
Aye.
something like that.
Yeah, but that's class because it gives you an idea of what you
Yeah.
want, and at the end of the day, it's what you want is all that really fucking matters on
Yeah.
your wedding day. Like.
The whole concept of jiving music annoys me, and that you know I've heard people say it where they're like, why can't you play a song we can jive to? You can jive to anything. You you can jive to Pantera. You'll look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But like it's not as if like these songs you can only jive to them. You could jive to fucking like
There's so many songs that you can do. The thing I don't understand is what is it about? Is it like the fucking like combination to a safe or something that just them set of movements
yeah
are just all you want to do all night? Like
yeah it's so
it's fucking.
it's like really
I don't
restrictive
understand.
or
I do
something.
not get it.
Yeah, I don't.
But it's funny as fuck. Like if you see people that are like actually like, because there are people that are good at it, and
Yeah.
by being good at it, like I mean, I've heard people be like, "Fuck them, to your class jivers." How would you see this? And they're doing the exact same moves. They're just fucking their feet about a bit more.
Yeah.
Like that's the essence of it doesn't change. But I don't know. It's just one of them things where
Yeah, I know a guy who
people love
has a
it.
jiving like he does a jiving like lessons. He teaches people how to jive, and he has
I
a lot
genuinely
of money.
thought you said drive-in there, and I thought you were gonna say you had a drive-in, drive-in fucking jive coming up. I was just like, ah, fuck
Here,
me.
after this lockdown, there
Here
could
we go.
be a
Starts it
drive-in
again.
jive, a drive-in jive now. Just people standing on top of the fucking
That's
Nissan Micra, twirl.
it's,
No.
it is a huge thing though. Like, and it's like you say, hey, there's people fucking pay to go to lessons and shit for it. So like, uh, more power to them. Hey, I'll leave it to them.
Absolutely, it's
For me, anyway, it's not my thing.
not at all. But I suppose because of the nature of your setup, people must assume, right, we can get a jive and we're
All
going
the
to
time,
get rebel songs, which probably it's not
all
fair
the
fair to assume
time,
that. Fuck me, huh?
all the time. Hey, fucking hell, it's just one of the I sometimes I feel like we should have just like a fucking screen in front of Ronnie, because if people see a banjo, they just have a trigger. It's like, right,
Yeah,
fuck, here we go, wolf tones all night, and like that's it is a thing, and like obviously like we fucking grew up with them, a lot of them songs as well, we know them, but like, what's the point in playing any divisive shit
oh
when
for sure.
you're there to entertain everybody, like,
Yeah,
so it is it's just, it does happen a lot, hey, but it's just something we don't do either, like,
yeah.
but the jiving stuff and that and to that, and then there's always just a wagon wheel screamer every every uh every wedding. There's always one person that just wants to hear wagon wheel on
Oh,
repeat,
that's like the
which
stairway to
again,
heaven
fair
of
enough.
jive music. Hey? Fucking hell. Just that's that is it's the purple rain of fucking jive culture. Hey? Jesus Christ.
Stairway to heaven.
Like
That's actually a spot on fucking
yeah.
comparison. Like,
Because to be honest, when I first seen you guys, when I see a banjo in any band, maybe it's just my fucking 90s upbringing, but I was just going, I wonder if they do 5, 6, 7, 8 by steps. Honestly. Which again,
oh,
I can,
fucking tune.
I can see the glint in your eye going, we have to learn
Done.
that.
Yeah. Cotton Eye Joe's the other one. People always like Cotton. They must know Cotton Eye Joe. Um, yeah, but then I think people are either pleasantly surprised or disappointed because they see like a runaway banjo player, and then he shreds that thing like a fucking guitar. Like he doesn't play it like a fucking diddly dee banjo player. Like
No, he
it's
doesn't.
full
Yeah.
on fucking drop a gear disappear kind of stuff for Ronnie. Like,
Yeah.
so that's one of the things that I think, I don't know, it's probably it's drove the whole thing, the whole sound behind it, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like you say, it's one of them things where people come expecting that kind of jiving thing. That's just not the case for us at all.
Yeah.
But
It's like I've never seen that you know that TV show is it There's No Place Like Tyrone, but I see like the
oh
odd
Jesus, I never watched it. Hey,
I see the odd clip and it's all there's always jiving. Always. It's like jiving and bales of hay and check shirts and incest. That's all it seems to fucking be. Hey?
gives us such a fucking bad name, like.
Man, I don't know like if I would be like angry or embarrassed watching There's No Place Like Tyrone. Like it's I don't know, but it's again
But I feel
it's
like
like a
the
cult.
Tyrone's one of them places, though. I don't know if you find this, but like, because, right, what is there, like Strabane, fucking Oma, and Cookstown and Dungannon, really.
Mm, yeah,
Like, but for me, Tyrone's the kind of place where I live 8 miles away from Oma,
yeah,
but I don't sound like somebody from Oma.
yeah,
And like, my ma's from fucking Pomeroy, which is like 6 miles away again
yeah,
from where our home house is, and she doesn't sound like me. Like, it's just, and I feel like in that show they have just picked like people from the strangest sounding accents,
oh yeah, yeah,
and we like there must be like at least 100 different fucking accents in their own. Like, it's just remarkable.
yeah. It's they all look like failed clones of each other. Even like the kids, not just like like Russian dolls of wankers, just fucking
Just check shirt, check shirt, right
yeah.
down.
Always
Oh,
leaning,
I boy.
always leaning on someone, even if there's fuck all there. Desi.
Have you watched an episode of it?
No, I can't. I can't bring myself to do it. If I ever want to kill myself, I'll watch it. Instead of preheating the oven, I'll just watch that and then just keep headbutting the telly until I can't do fuck all. I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I don't really like watching anybody from here on the TV. Like even like Dairy Girls. Sometimes I'm just going, and when you hear Nadine Coyle on the telly, and you're like, mate, because we're obviously anybody outside
I kind of
uh,
I kind of enjoyed Dairy Girls because of how true it was to dairy people.
oh,
Like
I still enjoyed it. It was just there was a few times we were
that's
like, yeah,
yeah. I know it is a thing. Like it's not a pleasant accent to have broadcast like at all. But
yeah.
yeah, it doesn't bode well for radio or TV. Like it just doesn't go well at all.
Yeah, I think they've synthesized down the accents for the characters in that show, so it's still pretty much Derry, but it's manageable. But if you go into like real Derry, like I've done some gigs in there, speak to the Isle fellas or even Isle women, they always like they speak super fast, and that's like me saying that. They always sound like they're like commentating on horses. Do you know what I mean? Just properly, like no those guys just like and it always builds up. But it's so mad that there's so many accents like in just Northern Ireland. There's so many.
Yeah,
It's
that's great. Even generational. Like my granddad's accent is fucking, and he's been from this area his entire life, and it's totally different to mine. Like
yeah.
it's fucking great. Do you get that a lot of it? Did people think you're from Derry all the time?
No, to this
I
day.
get that
To
all the
this
time.
day.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's.
I always get that. Like I don't understand it at all. Like,
Do you get the dairy thing as well? Because I'd like.
I
Do you?
but like I suppose I did live with ones from Derry for like a big fella from Derry for 3-4 years,
Uh.
and I did find myself kind of sometimes saying things the same way as him.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not the fucking way I say that. Get that out of you now,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Uh, but I don't know whether that's kind of influenced it. But I get dairy all the time, and
Fuck it.
I think it is especially the way I say dairy now instead of fucking dairy. That's the exact same. Kind of like dairy,
Yeah.
dairy.
You
Instead
said
of
it. You
dairy.
said it the same way twice. You just opened your mouth a bit more. This is dairy.
Dairy instead of dairy.
Yeah.
But I
I
guess
don't, like I
I
don't
guess
know.
I just kind of like
It's fucking like even like I've done podcasts with you, and I've done a podcast with like a couple of lads from Strabane individually, and I think no matter what, it's still going to sound like the Moy Park Christmas Do. You know what I mean? It's just I think we're just resigned to that. Huh? Oh, sorry, fucking
But
mad.
I find it difficult to find difference. I can't find an accent really, in fairness, between Shaban and Derry that much. Like,
I don't see him. It's not a massive difference, to be fair. I just think it's funny that like you know you always seem to bump into someone. Like, did you know this Derry guy before you started living with him? I assume, or was it one of those things that he knew?
he
Yeah.
was he was in Elms like when I was living in Elms.
You see, like Elms Village is more so like about international students and getting them
Yeah.
sorted. It's geared towards that. But I lived in Elms, and I was going. I could meet someone from Venezuela here. Guy next
That
to me in Elms,
fucking
Dungannon. Fucking.
I was the same.
That's
There's
a
all
crack, sir.
fucking like 5 ones from Derry, and then everybody else is from fucking Oma.
Yeah, but the furthest away in my floor and the
And one
floor above.
Chinese guy.
Yeah, there's one Chinese guy and there's two hers from Banbridge. Done. That's it. Did you
I
live?
Banbridge. That's as far as they got away. Like,
Did you live? Did you live in the Holy Lands at all?
never. I never lived in the Holy Lands. No.
Where?
I partially regret it and partially don't.
I'm the same, weirdly enough, in that I know that it was Party Central and you were in a shithole, but I'd say for a year the stories you would get out of it would be worth it for the rest of your life. Like,
Yeah, I was always joking about fucking Botanic or Lisbon Road and then Armour Road.
yeah,
Always around there. Like I just didn't. Like it was just too fucking hectic for me. I think. Just too much. Like.
yeah. I
Um.
like when I was a student, I liked the party, I liked the sesh, but I liked peace and quiet the next day. Do you know what I mean?
I.
Whereas I think you
Yeah.
would always have someone partying near you, like.
It just seemed too fucking hectic. And then every time I was in the Holy Lands for a party or whatever, it was always too hectic. So I was kind of like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But Yeah, no, I never really was in. Botanic was a nice place to live, like when you're that age, like it was fucking good crack.
Uh, the thing is about
Plus, you
Botanic
chip around the
is
corner, so.
exactly. See, I was in University Street for a couple of years with
Ah, yeah,
Lisa
yeah.
before where I am now. So that's on the same side as China, but about four houses down. But Jesus,
Oh
I
god,
didn't cook for a couple of years, sir. Honestly, um,
China every day.
China, Chipco was there. Towards the end, French Village, Pizza Co,
Belgium as
Maggie
well,
Mae's,
like
Belgium, Build a Burger, and then there was like
tribal burger now.
Tribal Burger.
That was so good, hey. That
Bao was
was
lethal, man.
fantastic.
Bao was
Yeah.
lethal. But it's hard to.
There's a Vietnamese place on it now as well. Just started there.
Whereabouts is that?
It's on Botanic. I can't. Madame Fo or something it's called.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that on Facebook or some shit. Like
Yeah,
Botanic's the place for just very quick eats. Like, there's no doubt that if you're
it's
looking.
good for that shit. Like definitely, 100%.
I love living there. And then, like, I never lived in Holy Lands either. I was like Stramillis for a couple of years, which was dead on.
Fuck, I was in Stranmillis too. Actually, I
Whereabouts were you?
fuck it. St Ives.
St. Ives. I was Sandymount, so I think that's a street or two apart.
Across the street. Yeah, across the road.
I did Elms, Sandymount, Landseer, which is the street just down by the house bar, whatever the fuck it's called now. That wee street
Oh,
down
Jagged
there.
Nettle now. Yeah,
That exactly what it's called. And then I was University
another
Street.
good bar. Hey?
Here, like, I haven't been to Jagged Nettle, but the house bar was lethal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jagged Nettle's fucking deadly too. Hey? I fucking love dogs. Hey? And they just have pooches in there flat out.
Oh, did they?
So it's fucking there's just loads of dogs in it all the time. It's fucking so if you don't like dogs, like it's shout for you, but
Yeah.
it's fucking I love the place. Hey?
Did you always have like a decent student gaff, or did you live in any proper shitholes?
Um, no, I got off alright. No, no, fuck no. We did. We lived in one in Wellesley Street, on the Lisbon Road.
Right.
It was a shithole. Like there's just fucking mold everywhere.
Oh, that's
One of
always
the
the thing.
lads found fucking like a couple of pairs of knickers down the back of his bed and all. Like when we moved in, just fucking rotten. It was stinking.
Fuck.
Like full on Megan.
You need to do it though. I think you need to have that experience because then you appreciate.
I don't know if you need to go that far. I was like, there's nights I was like, fucking. There's nights I was like hypothermia levels of fucking cold in that place. Like
Oh man,
it was ridiculous.
when when I was in Landseer Street, it was oil heating, and naturally, not everyone financially is on the same page. We didn't get oil for about near a year, and the year that we were in Landseer was, do you remember that really bad winter that we had about? And it was fucking.
Yeah.
We were in there for that. Like we tried everything to unfreeze the pipes. You know, like my roommate Brian smoking a bine, by the way, full kettle, and just pouring it on the pipe. did fuck all, and it was honestly, man. Like when you go for a shite in the morning and you like you sit in the toilet and you're like, and you have to like ease yourself back down to it because the toilet's Baltic. Like that's the fucking worst thing is at Kyle toilets are. I ours is free. Like I got so just sick of being cold. Like just that constant feeling of being cold. When I moved into University Street with Lisa, she was down Strabane, but I got our stuff moved in, and the landlord like was in a lovely flat. Our first flat was class, and landlord gave me the keys and was like, "That's you set up, and here's the fucking pin for the burglar alarm and all that shit." So I walked around and organised a few bits, and I seen that there was like £1.30 left on the gas, the wee gas meter tell you how much you had left, and the previous tenants had left a tin of strawberry and lime Copperberg in the fridge. Down to the cax, man, and just dangled about with the heat on, just going like, "Is this love that I'm feeling?" Never been this happy in my fucking life, and I got married last September.
Living the fucking dream.
Man, it was the best. No, when you just haven't had heat for a year, and then you get a bit of it, and you're like, I just want to. Like sometimes
Want to keep the heat, not the fucking Lanzarote in your flat.
Man, some of those houses we lived in were so fucking cold. You're like, I might just dangle the ball bag in front of the oven here because I'm fucking getting it tight here.
we had a flat, or it was a top floor flat on. Oh Jesus, what the fuck's the name? It's behind Botanic. Like one of the streets that runs parallel to Botanic. I can't remember the fucking name of it now.
There's Ireton Street, and then there's Cromwell. something.
It's off Cromwell. I can't remember the fucking name of it. Hey.
Mm.
It's not gonna. It's if you go down Cromwell Road or whatever it's called. It's like a second right off it.
Right.
But we were living there in one of the top floor place, and the door had like the door to the apartment and then a main front door. So like the front door, our buddy was the fella I was living with at the time had an ASDA order, but at this stage on home of the weekend he stayed working, so he had an ASDA order and he just had his fucking a pair of shorts on, a t-shirt, like, and he went down to grab his ASDA order and the fucking door closed behind him, and then he had shit in the oven, so he had to open the fuse box and turn off all the fucking electricity, which obviously turned off all the lights and shit.
Yeah.
He texted us. Oh no, fuck no, he didn't text us. He had no phone.
Yeah.
We were texting him to see like what the crack was, or like what time he was going to be finished work, whatever. And we got no word from him. And we opened the door, and like it was winter time, so we were fucking thought we were being robbed for a start. So we opened the door, and he was lying, and he like fashioned a bed out of the newspaper he bought, and was lying with like a roll of kitchen rolls, fucked up in fucking pitch fucking black darkness.
Yeah.
And like there was no letterbox in the fucking thing, so the wind was just coming in. Cut looked like it looked like he'd just fucking perished on Mount Everest, like he was just curled up in a wee ball, fucking wrecked.
God bless.
Fucked it.
Oh.
Just poor bastard. How you get he was outside for like 4 hours and like in the porch for like 4 hours. Couldn't turn the electric on because they'd turned the oven on.
Jesus Christ. God bless him.
Sit sleeping on it. It's like, what'd you do? And he's like, must have read that newspaper about 6 times. Fuck, that's a bad day.
Yeah.
What do you call that?
Reading his horoscope or some shit. Well, again, thanks for bearing with me and doing a re-record of the episode.
No worries,
boy. So thanks a million for coming on, and I'll let you get back to whatever. Not a bother. We'll do it another time once I get my equipment cooperating. Fucking dicks. But I hope you enjoy your weekend, man. I finished Couch to 5K on Friday. Hey? Oh wow.
Oh fuck yes, yes,
Friday.
Boy.
So bootleggers is being ordered and lock of pints. I don't know where in Belfast I can get draft pints to take away. I think the Sunflower's doing it, I believe.
Field is delivering anyway. I know. Fucking Love and Death are doing cocktails. I sound like a fucking. I need to start working for like Belfast tourism. But
there's nothing worse than. Do you ever see the guy? He's like, do you know opposite McDonald's on the corner towards like Primark? There's that. Is a city picnic. It's called.
Oh yes.
And there used to be like burgers this way, and he used to like hold up a big fucking half a pallet. And just it's actually got a wee bit better, but he would just stand there all day, and I was like, you couldn't pay me to do that job, man. Couldn't do it.
Oh fuck! Like doing the American advertising thing.
Burgers that way.
God.
Even though you're opposite McDonald's, for fuck's sake. Stupid, man. Fucking stupid. But again, I will love you and leave you, man. Thanks very much for coming on and bearing with me.
No worries, boy.
I'll chat to you soon. Hopefully, we'll get a wee pint, or I'll come see you do your music. Because I hope it's music. Because I tell you what, Micko likes music, and that's why he started the band in the fucking first place. He's one of the few people that likes music, and he's like, here, I think music's going to do very well, and people are like, fuck up, music's a load of bollocks, it'll never last. And you were fucking proved right. You and the two other guys got together and kept music alive. God bless you.
Look at us now, sitting unemployed and fucking broke.
Yeah. Thanks again, man, and I will chat to you very soon, alright?
No worries, man.
All the best, man.
All the best, Ray. Thanks for having me, man.
No worries, man. See you later.